good morning and a warm welcome to the AM show. We're coming to you live over GRTS TV. We are, of course, on MDI Road, broadcasting for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. My name is Fatu Elika Muloshi, and of course, this is your early morning show that sets your day in motion, bringing you the best of current affairs, entertainment, sports, and of course, some exciting interviews with the people who matter. And today we'll be looking at some interesting issues here on the show right after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the AM show. Today we are going to start differently as we join Zainabou Jan, who had an engagement with Alassane Job in the Coffee With segment. It was quite an interesting one. Let's take a look at that, and when we come back, we have other things to discuss.
We'll now talk about your job as the registrar of companies. How did you get that position? Because I understand you do work with the Ministry of Justice, but then how did you become the registrar for these companies and all these businesses that we hear of now?
Yes, as I said, I started working with the ministry in 2010. I'm currently in my 10th year, serving my 10th year with the ministry. And all the time I was going to the university, I was also working. So I was doing work and studying. And I was attached at the company's unit by then. So I started there as an intern and then through a legal clerk. So I rose through the ranks at the office. And I've worked with a couple of registrar of companies. And most of the people that I worked with there, sometime they left the office and joined other offices. So I was the only person who had the institutional memory of the office itself, because I didn't leave. Even though for the first 2 years I wasn't paid, I was just an intern, I was just working and going to school. But I waited until I finished my LLB degree at the university, my program. And then it also coincided with the ministry setting up a new office at KMC, a new business registration office, to ease the pressure in Banjul, so that people that have businesses in the coast wouldn't need to go to Banjul. So that coincided with the time I finished my degree. And then, of course, that office needed somebody to head it, and then that's how I was brought to Carnifing to head the registration, the single window registry unit there. So that's when I was promoted to that position to be the assistant registrar. So currently I'm the most experienced staff in the company's unit, because I've been there for a long time.
Yeah, of course. That sounds good, and that sounds good. Still, you're young, and you have a lot to do and grow into. So now, talking about businesses, since the COVID lockdown, we understand that, a lot of businesses suffered because they had to close down, they weren't getting the customers that they were used to getting before. So tell us about the impact of, COVID on businesses, especially you being in charge of registering companies and businesses, but then during the COVID, nobody knew what their next step was. So they weren't sure if to register or to wait and see. Who knew? So tell us about that, and then obviously, what's your opinion on it?
Yes, during the COVID, when it was in its peak, we suffered because the number of people that used to come to register, it drastically went down. By then we had also downsized our staff, so people didn't usually come to register a lot. And because we are directly under central government, all the revenue we generate in this registration is given back to central revenue. So if we don't have much registration, it will, in the bigger picture, it will also affect the government's revenue collection.
Of course.
So in terms of the businesses, right now, when COVID is not finished, but I mean, we are all acting like it's over. People are coming to register a lot. It has affected a lot of registrations, because this year most businesses have not filed their returns, because when you register every year you should file returns. So most of them have not filed returns, and we understand that it's due to the COVID. Most businesses were on stand down.
Yeah.
So they aren't able to come and file their returns for this year. So that's also affecting our registration a lot, in terms of the number of people coming, and in terms of the revenue we generate for the government. Also, it's also going to be affected this year.
Of course. Yeah, it's rather unfortunate, but we had no choice, and we had to stay safe. So, okay, now I'm going to ask you about your job as a senior state counsel. Tell us about that, and the challenges that you encounter, and also share with us the prosecution process. That's very interesting.
Yes, as I said, I've worked with the company's unit almost all my time with the ministry. So when I was called to the bar, of course, as a lawyer, you don't always want to specialize in one aspect. So I have a passion for corporate and business law. That's my area of specialization.
Yeah.
But you never know where you will find yourself tomorrow. And the ministry is the best place to learn as a young lawyer.
Yeah.
So I decided to take up a few criminal cases, because all the lawyers at the Ministry of Justice are state lawyers. So, and we do prosecution of criminal cases. So I started taking up some few criminal cases to also boost up my experience in criminal prosecution.
Of course.
Because, as I said, you never know where I may end up tomorrow. So if I only focus on the corporate and business law aspect, and then I don't know, and they always say a lawyer belongs at the courthouse.
Yeah.
So the work I'm doing right now is more administrative than practical. So most of the things that I learned in law school is when you go to court that you actually get to see them in practice. So that's why I started taking up some criminal cases, and it's very difficult to do prosecution and then do my work as registrar.
Yeah.
But I handle a few, maybe 2 or 3 criminal cases, and then I'm also learning a lot in the process. And currently, as we are speaking, I'm handling about 3 to 4 criminal cases on behalf of the office. So how these things work, usually when crimes are committed, the police do the investigation and they compile the file and send it to the ministry for legal advice.
Okay.
And then we proffer a legal advice, and if we find out that there is a, I don't want to use prima facie, you might not understand the legal term, but if
so what does it mean? I
you know, find out that after reviewing the entire file, after the police have done their investigation, we review the file and see if an offense has been committed. Basically. Because each offense has ingredients. So if all the ingredients of that particular offense are present, then we retain the file and prosecute the offender.
Okay.
If we feel there is no offense committed, after reviewing the file, we send it back to the police, and then the person is discharged.
Welcome back to the AM show, and that was a very interesting one there. I'm pretty sure we'll play you the ending in our subsequent AM shows, or better still, you can just follow GRTS. AM has a special date as, I think, on Tuesday, and you can get that full version. But now moving on, born in Brewfoot village in 1990, Karamo Sise underwent an incomplete majorless education in Sanyang village of Komba South. But this hasn't demotivated him in any way, but served as a source of inspiration. Karamo is also known as the Gambia's next pen, who made his successful debut as an author in 2013 with his first manuscript called Part to Play in National Development. Now, this success gave birth to the most inspirational among them in 2017. Sure, the way you think determines your success. A few days ago, he made another success as he launched a book called Shedding Golden Tears Silently. What an irony. We'll look at that now as the author himself, Karamo, joins us live in the studio to expand the conversation on his latest book, Shedding Golden Tears. Karamo, welcome to the AM show.
Thank you.
What did I say? Karamo Bojang?
Sise.
Pardon me, I didn't bring my pen, otherwise I would have changed that. Karamo Bojang is your name, no?
No, Karamo B. Ture.
Oh, Karamo B. Ture.
Yeah.
All right, there you. Oh, yeah, it's on the book right here, Karamo B. Ture. So this is the book, Shedding Golden Tears. Karamo, tell us. Let's first of all begin the discussion on, the Gambia's next pen. Why do you say the Gambia's next pen? I know we have the Gambia's pen. Yeah. Who is the Gambia's pen?
I guess this is Momodu Sabali.
Okay, nice. That makes it authentic then. He's the Gambia's pen. But you call yourself the Gambia's next pen. Yeah. Why? You can match Momodu Sabali?
Obviously.
Obviously. Yeah. I like that. So tell me, where did you get this title from? Or you gave it to yourself?
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers, wherever you might be. The title all came as a result of because I'm a registered author on the Writers Association of the Gambia. So obviously, if that happened in the case through their registration formalities, you would like to have a promising pen name, and that gave me this title of that I gave to myself as an aspiring writer.
Okay.
I am going to be the next pen of the Gambia.
Inshallah.
By the grace of God.
All right. So this one is here, Shedding Golden Tears, the title of your recent book. Why Shedding Golden Tears? What are you trying to explain here?
Yeah, this is a personal autobiography, or some people might call it a personal memoir, which has tracked me back then of my Majlis education. Most of us, some of our viewers would have attested that how Majlis education is, the difficulties that some children encounter in Majlis education, which I spent 8 years. From that level, at the age of 15, 16, I was enrolled at primary school, which would have, to most people in the traditional society that we belongs to, some people might be a dropout, but which I foresee based on following my dreams, and these I was able to complete primary school. So in this process, I was able to go through so many hiccups, and which one of them includes financial inability to sponsor myself during my schooling, and most of them also include support through my educational career, and I was crying all away. But many people don't know. In fact, people who are closer to me doesn't know about my crying.
Okay.
So this is why.
So why is the crying golden? What's golden about the crying?
Yeah, the golden there is life after education. There is likelihood that there is an employment if your dreams comes true. So which I was able to get at the end of the day. So which would have been getting salary. Would have been the
now I understand why you say it's more like a memoir, right? Okay, right. But also in most of your books, this one here is Shedding Golden Tears silently. I like the fact that you said silently, because you mentioned you were crying inside, but a lot of people did not know. So tell me, because most of your books are focused on youth participation in nation building and development. Why is that the central focus of most of your books?
Thank you very much for that brilliant question. It's like young people are the backbone of every society that we belongs to. This should not be a foresight, or this should not be a political motivation, but this is the fact. And the future development of any nation lies in the hands of the young people. For our Gambia to go ahead, the young people has to be as supreme. Their roles need to be recognized, not in front of camera, but even behind camera. This should not be a word that most of us, when we sit in front of TVs, we should say it. No, it's also even prior to our coming here must have been acknowledged. So this is why I focus on that area, because personally I'm a youth activist. I was a Red Cross volunteer for nearly all my career. and I was my first appointment as a result of National Youth District Youth Coordinator of Commonwealth, which came as somewhere around 2010, 2011 on the Gambia Red Cross Society. So all these things would have been an enshrine, and I was also recently I am the Assistant Auditor of Bruford Sport Development Committee. Most of my engagement, I interact with young people, and I know most of them, they are tears. I acknowledge it very well, and I know if we are very talented young people in this country. If they haven't left behind, they would have been where we want them to be.
Okay.
But most of them are left behind.
So they need to be included in the development process.
Because if these people are left out, I see no future for this nation.
So now, have you also mentioned in part of your themes where they were not included, but they are taking center stage in the development process?
Yeah, this I can vividly call, I can give you a chapter title, The Paralysis of the Mind.
Go ahead.
The paralysis of the mind is catalogued of some of the NCs that young people were going through, and which one of them includes use of irregular migration as an example, use of illicit drugs, and also inability some of them to finance themselves. Just yesterday I was even interacting with a girl child who was very brilliant, because I was lucky to go through her results, and I was able to, this girl was able to have a financial support.
Okay.
And with most of them, some of us, we use our resources on some of the things that we know that they are important, though, because it's based on what we do. But also, it's better we think of grooming these people, because as they contribute in the society's development.
Very well. I have your book here. I just want to read a little bit, maybe a paragraph here. I don't know, I just opened and saw this, so I like to see what you make of it. It says, "My lawyer was stern. He treated a case next to murder like sitting on a concrete fence. The executioner must have given him something in order to convince Moses Richard to treat the case with levity and favor. Albeit, I won the case and compensated with money that I never saw. This money was meant to fund my education and did not go that way, resulting in the delay in my educational career." What do you mean by that? I love the wordplay, by the way.
Yeah, anyway, this is a case which, if I might, usually, even if I want to reflect on it, I nearly said tears, because this is what delayed the whole process of my educational career. Those of the viewers who knew me very well, they would have tell you, in fact, if you were at a luncheon, you're supposed to be an MC, but one way or the other.
Oh, this was the one that I was supposed to MC. I didn't hear from you. We didn't meet, so.
The appointment was unable to fulfill due to certain reason, because the co-guy also was very busy.
That's okay.
This case was a case that I was involved. I was assaulted. I could remember the first day that we met, the first lawyer that handled the case on my behalf, told me, honestly, in his own house, he said, "How much does this," somebody asked him on behalf of me, I said, "How much do you think this case worth?"
Worth,
He said, "This is 500,000 because this is a murder case."
Wow.
At that moment. Then I was around grade 7 and 8, between grade 7 and 8. So we went, but what happened at the end of the day was very serious. This is why, sorry to refract you, what science student, what we call refraction, to refract you along the way a little bit. If we are to go as a nation, we need to be prepared. How are we prepared? We need to be prepared individually. This is very, very important. Because if you are to get a degree without attitude, it's more or less like you haven't get anything yet. So this was what happened in that case. 2 days after, I don't know whether others went behind fence and they decided to
maneuver the whole situation.
This case, and all of a sudden, it was all came as a result of go and sit and dialogue. I could remember the first time that I appeared in a courtroom, my hand was in my pocket, and which, as they claimed in the beginning, it was a murder case. It was a murder case in the sense that I was assaulted with a stick on my head, which resulted me for a coma at least more than 3 months.
Wow. And you ended up losing the case.
I haven't lost it per se. I was compensated.
Were you compensated?
I was compensated by name.
By what?
Name.
By name.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, because
As in compensation, as in just compensation, but you didn't feel like that compensation was sort of a
because
closure.
I was in one way pressed to force myself to be okay so that the case can be able to come to a judgment stage.
I think this is a conversation, this is indeed a conversation that we might want to expand some other time.
Yeah.
You are getting into it, but I think you have a story, Karamo.
Yeah.
But as well, let's talk about the launching and how that went. How was the turnout and how was the reception in general?
Yesterday I started calling some people. In fact, one of them was my chief launcher, and other one is so many guests of honors that I invited. But remarkably, it would interest you. Most of the Gambian authors who launched their book before this book, all of them saw their privilege and their approach to my launching as one of the most successful launching that never
came
about in the year 2020. Like it's kind of like a history making, because personally we were able to our role to cater for 150 people, but at the end of the day we see 407 people.
Wow,
So
that was massive.
Yeah, which Alhamdulillah. I like yesterday I was speaking to somebody who is very special to me. I told the guy, I said, look, now I know if I am a commodity, how much Gambian can buy me.
I think that says a lot.
So
let's also talk about you being a physiotherapist, and you own a traditional physiotherapy center.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Yeah, this was something like, as I said before, honest to God, my first ambition is to become a journalist.
Hey, is it?
Yes. This was sometimes after the sudden death of Data Hydra has maneuvered the whole of my concept. Because I knew this, I wouldn't know whether he was killed by people. I never.
You didn't know.
I'm just recently knowing that.
Yeah.
But what happened in those days was I was a member in Young People in the Media.
Really?
Yeah.
Young people in the media?
Yeah.
YPM?
Yeah.
With Abdul?
Then Asan Salah was my president.
Okay, that was a long time ago.
That was a long time. I could remember in those days I was around grade 8 or so. So we do participate in script
literally
writing
competitions
and we do some of them. So I was kind of like, I know, wow, I can make something.
We all passed through YPM.
Yes. So all of a sudden, something came up when I had the news of Chief Mane also. I said, hey, look, this is not the right direction for me. So I have to leave. But with coincidence, I cannot leave things to go. So when these financial issues hit me in my schooling career in those days, I rely on writing letters to people. And which one of them, I thank GRTS very well, because I was one time televised here with Mama J.
Okay.
At Jamanoji program with one Sunday. This was somewhere around 2008.
Okay.
I was televised here, and in fact, in that very day, what interested me was I came here and I was crying in front of the camera, but all of a sudden something was due to hide that cry. So this was.
He seemed to be a very emotional person.
Yeah, it was. In those days, I wish because some of the time I will trek from Brufut to come meet some of these events around this end. Yeah.
Right. It's very interesting, Karamo. I'm pretty sure when we have more time, sometime, in the future, we can talk more about this. But you are a nurse and all of that. How are you juggling all this? How did it even came about in the first place? Because at first you were juggling with school and fees and all of this, and eventually you were able to overcome.
Yeah, I was somebody who was born in a traditional society where record keeping was very tedious. People don't keep records. Actually, as I speak to you, I will give NC to say it. I was born in 1990. But actually,
from the way you were talking, I know you are not very, very young.
Yeah, no, I know very well.
Right.
But I was that also has to do with some people that I interact with. I do listen to people.
Okay.
And I want to be updated every now and then.
Nice.
So this also contributes in my human development in general. what happened is my mom used to do this traditional physiotherapeutic, like you said. So when I came up, I found her helping people when they have dislocation of joints, fractures. But her case is she'd never used even this local mixture, but what some people might call bambutlo. So what she used is like you see when you get to traditional African home, where they place a jar and the sand that used to be around that jar. That's the sand that she used in order to treat those people. So when I came up, I know that at least I get some expertise over from my Red Cross knowledge. So then I decided to
pursue that.
And I was able to hijack everything from her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah.
So now you've taken over that
yeah,
profession.
so in some way I wanted to become a physio, a trained physio for that matter.
Okay.
Some people, when they see my work, they would have preferred to say you are a physiotherapist, but I'm not
you don't call yourself one?
Yeah, I don't call myself
a traditional one you call
I'm a traditional physiotherapist.
Okay, so you've an established center you are doing
Yeah, that's why I do massage, and I also lecture people on massage.
Hey, we should come and do some massage there. We're so tired here. We've been working from, what was that, Aja? From Saturday, Sunday, every day, so we're tired.
Yeah.
But Karamo, it's been great having you here. And I just urge people to get this book, Shedding Golden Tears Silently. Where is it available at?
The book is currently available at Timbuktu Bookshop.
Nice, you even took it to Timbuktu.
Yeah, Timbuktu. And I was able to get 10 copies on sale within 2 weeks.
Okay. It's going fast.
Yeah.
Aja is saying that she also wants one. Okay. So, yeah, you can leave 2 here when you're going. Oh, we should patronize it. How much are you selling one for?
One is 250.
Okay, quite reasonable.
Yeah.
But Karamo Sisi, an author and a 4-year certified. Oh, sorry, Karamo Biture. Sorry, I have to go on Kadi for that.
This is a
yeah. Karamo Biture, an author and a 4-year certified cardinal therapist on bones and muscles, who recently worked with Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital and the team behind the Gambia Wafu Under-20 in Liberia, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Karamo, it's been great having you in our studio. Quite a story you have, and just keep it going.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow, we were talking about Karamo Biture here, a young person who might as well, is doing well. I wish I had given you the time to advise youth about how they can keep it going in unfavorable circumstances. But maybe just 20 seconds to do that. Your advice for young people.
Yeah, as young people, we need to know that for a society to go, we need to be a will of that particular society, and we also need to know, we also need to intoxicate ourselves with the spirit of motivating ourselves towards national development. And we should not underestimate ourselves, because like I said before, the future development of any nation lies in the hands of young people. And I'm not saying none of us should not search for greener pasture, but it's like we also need to believe that there is no tree there with money that we can cut and bring it back to the Gambia. But we need to go there. We will be valuable. We will be important. We will be also essential in that particular environment that we find ourselves in, what we call Europe, America, Asia, or whatsoever, if we have a skill. And these skills are very valuable. And most of us, we can also immensely contribute in our national development if we put ourselves into task.
Very well.
And governments need to understand that young people also are very important. It should not be in front of camera, but we supposed to support young people behind camera.
Very well.
I guess one way when I come, you would have asked me one of the challenges that I face in publishing this book.
It was quite a challenge as well.
Yeah, there are challenges, numerous challenges for that matter.
Very well.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Karamo, it's been great having you here. Unfortunately, we've run completely out of time, but it's very much interesting, everything that you've been telling us. Thank you so much for coming through, and all the best. Well, we were talking to Karamo Biture, the latest author, who's launched a book here in the country over the weekend. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at some other issues. Stay with us.
DJ Fatty.
Hey, I am Sister Yai.
Hi, this is X-Mile.
Hi, this is Sex.
Hello, I'm Ronald.
Hi, I am Anna Mane, a fashion designer.
I am Danny Constant.
And I'm Fanta Jamba Sise.
AM show, I'm watching each and every AM. So every Gambian and every person watch the AM show each and every day. Hey! Chahan kuwandati jenka bitol fale dak ifele katamo komansaki inyal ben kanchak kole ko simbe duma sabe duma fonse mutale tap konye general webo kadi amulimo yefi mak victory tap at the top no fit songs dem go pop dan salman go chop if I no really bones we adapt skank direct AM show afoba mad.
Welcome back to the AM show. Now, the seasonal malaria chemo prevention (SMC) campaign is the intermittent administration of 4 preventive treatment courses of anti-malarial drugs during the rainy season to prevent malaria. While the CMC, as it is known, is about to start in the Lower River region, we are joined in the studio here by Olimatu Koli, the focal person of for SMC on this particular development. Madam Koli, you're welcome to the AM show.
Thank you, Fatu.
Now, when did this program start in the Gambia and in which regions?
Actually, the program started in 2014, and we started as a pilot in URR and CRR, and it was funded by UNICEF. And then in 2015, we had funding from Access SMC, and implementation was also in URR and CRR, where we were giving anti-malarial drugs to children during the peak malaria season to prevent them from malaria and also adverse effects of malaria. So we realized that the intervention was effective. We have a reduction, a mass reduction in malaria in children 3 to 59 months, because that's the target. And then we decided to scale the intervention in 2018 to Western, which is the West Coast region in Brikama. And then we've been implementing also in the West Coast, and recently 2020 we scaled to LRR and the North Bank regions.
All right. Now tell us more about this SMC campaign.
This is a door-to-door campaign where we have volunteers who will be moving with the drugs to households, and then during their visit in that household, they try to establish the children 3 to 59 months who are in that household, they register them, educate them, and also give them the anti-malarial drugs. Normally, they will give the first dose as a start dose, and then the second and the third dose, they will teach the parents on how to give the second and the third dose. So basically, this is what they do when they go to households. And as I said, it's a very cost-effective intervention, and it has helped in reducing malaria, especially in the target group, which is the 3 to 59 months.
Say that again. What was the target group?
3 to 59 months.
Okay, 3 to 59 months. All right. Now, why would you say this timing is in fact the best? Because now the rainy season has passed, and I mean, are we seeing fewer cases or we're seeing a surge?
You see, malaria in the Gambia, our normally it peaks from September up to December, and then that period is all the peak. That's why normally we target September to December. The implementation started in September because every month these volunteers will go to household on monthly basis and then provide these drugs to children. So we started in September. That was the first cycle, and the second cycle was in October. The third was in November, and this is the last cycle, which is December, because we target the peak season of malaria, which is we start from September to December.
Okay.
And by January, that's when you start seeing the peak going down.
Drop.
So basically, that's why we are targeting. It's not only the raising system, but we are looking at the prevalence of malaria.
Of course, yeah. So in terms of prevalence, you're looking at LRR now. Tell us, what's your message for the people of LRR? That's your next area you're visiting?
I just want to tell LRR that we'll be there on the 27th. That's when the final cycle will start, 27th to the 31st of December. And then some of our challenges that we do have is like some people refuse taking the, for their kids to take the medication. So I'm just appealing to them. This is an anti-malarial drug. They should allow their kids to take it so that together we can bring malaria to zero in the country.
Would you say they educated on the importance of this? Why are they refusing? Maybe because they do not know? Have you been sensitizing them?
Yeah, we've done a lot of sensitization, but you know, with this pandemic, we normally don't have any problem with this intervention since we started. But this year it coincided with the pandemic, that is the COVID-19, and some people were sending wrong messages telling people that health is testing COVID-19 vaccines. And I think those information have reached some parents, and as a result, some of them tend to be reluctant for their kids to take the drugs.
That's unfortunate. But what would be your advice to the general public? What do you have to tell them
My
about
advice would be that these drugs, we just want to assure them that this is an intervention we started since in 2014, when we were not even thinking of COVID-19. And then I just want to assure them that the drugs are safe and they are efficacious in bringing down malaria. And I always use the example of URR and CRR, where we started, where we have drastically reduced malaria in under 5s. Because right now in URR, if you look at their statistic, we rarely have a case of under 5 malaria. So it's a cost-effective intervention, and I will urge all of them to ensure that they embrace the intervention, because malaria, fighting malaria, only health can't do it. It's all of us bringing our hands together to fight malaria, to ensure that we
take it to zero
from the Gambia.
And zero is the target.
Yeah, our target is to bring malaria to zero.
Very well. Madam Kole, it's been great having you in our studio, and all the best in this last phase of this malaria vaccine for kids in the age bracket of 3 months to 59. Is that correct? Awesome. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we have other segments to look at. Do stay.
Khadija Fati.
Hey, I am Sister Ya.
Hi, this is X Mild.
Hi, this is Sex.
Hello, I'm Ronald.
Hi, I am Anna Mane, a fashion designer.
I am Danny Constant.
And I'm Fanta Jambasise.
AM show, I'm watching each and every AM. So every Gambian and every person watch the AM show each and every day. Hey, chahan kuwandati jenka bitol fale dak. Ifele katamo komansaki inyal ben kanchak kole ko simbe duma sabe duma fonse mutaletap konye general webo kadi amulimo yefimak victory top of the top no fit songs them go pop dan salman go chop if I no really bones we adapt skank the AM show afoba mad.
Hello viewers, I am Khadija.
Welcome back to the AM show. We're coming to you live from our studios here on the MDI Road, of course, broadcasting for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. It's about time we take a look at what's trending on the on the newspapers. And in fact, I have a guest here in the studio who will do us the honor of going through the newspapers. He'll be doing the review. Esa, it's good to have you in the studio today.
Yes, good morning, Fatu. It's a pleasure joining you on the platform once again.
Right.
I'm very happy and honored, like you said, to come and do the newspaper review this morning here.
Yeah.
Some interesting stories on the Bakau-based Standard newspaper. The lead story this morning, wife killer's sentence maintained. FI bank staff in court over $3 million theft. That's a very interesting story. We'll be taking you through details of the story in a moment. Germany to deport another 20 Gambians. Nyang Jai says only the ignorant believe Barrow is working. Lawyer Jobate remanded on bail. Manding Bumba rebutes minister for criticizing coronation of king. An artist condemned for mimicking Jesus' crucifixion that has been trending even on social media of recent. So basically we will take you through the first few lines of some of these stories on the paper this morning, beginning with the lead story. The Supreme Court of the Gambia, presided over by Chief Justice Hassan B. Jallow, has affirmed the judgments of the High Court and the Court of Appeal, noting that it has no reason to alter the sentence imposed on one Mahmoudou Oki Sissoko by the trial court and affirmed by the Court of Appeal. Now, reading further, Mr. Sissoko was a 23-year-old native of Njamanar village, that is in the Upper River region, Fatu. And the paper goes further to say he had been married to Jari Demba for 3 years. He was ordinarily resident in Spain. And during a visit to the country, he discovered his wife had conceived. And by the time he delivered a baby girl, he chanced upon rumors that he wasn't the father. Now, on the 15th of February, according to the Standard, he confronted Jari and she confirmed that the child was not his. In a fit of rage, he stabbed her to death. He also stabbed himself, and when neighbors and relatives heard wails from inside the room, they broke the door and found the couple on the floor unconscious. Now, on the 21st of May 2014, he was charged with 1 count of murder and attempted suicide by the Basse Magistrate Court. Now, the presiding judge, who is S.A. Abbey, found him not guilty of murder and convicted him of manslaughter by reason of provocation, and also convicted him of attempting a suicide. So that's a very interesting story on the Standard newspaper this morning. FI bank staff in court over $3 million theft. Reading on the staff of the First International Bank branch, which is in Basse, is in trouble with the law after being arraigned at the Regional Capitals Magistrate Court for stealing over $3 million from his employee.
Wow.
Now, Njagasar appeared before Principal Magistrate Omar Jabang yesterday on allegation of stealing $3,457,103 as well as 93 bullets from FI bank branch.
Interesting.
Yes, so the court court records show that the alleged theft happened between 2017 and 2018 at the bank's regional branch. Now, the charge sheet indicated that Njaga took the money from the bank's vault and diverted it to his personal use without the bank's knowledge and authorization. However, he has denied any wrongdoing, according to the Standard newspaper.
That's an interesting one there, actually.
Very interesting. So, Germany to deport another 20, says the Standard. German authorities are planning another mass deportation of Gambian migrants a month following the extradition of an earlier batch from the Western European countries, sources have disclosed. Now, the new deportees, according to the paper, were expected in the country last Tuesday, but their flight was delayed after it failed to secure a landing permit in the Gambia. So, that is also another story on the Standard newspaper. Now, the paper is reporting that former Justice Minister Lamin Babadinding Jobate is currently remanded on police bail for allegedly obtaining money through false pretense. Fatu.
Is it?
Yes, he was a former Justice Minister. Now, the police in Latria, that is in the West Coast region, granted temporary retrieve to Jobate after he was questioned for receiving over $500,000 on the pretext of selling a plot of land. Now, the police spokesperson, Superintendent Lamin Jai, confirmed that the former Attorney General was taken to the police after failing to transfer ownership of the plot of land to the said guy that he sold the land to. Now, artists condemned for mimicking Jesus crucifixion.
And that's a contentious one, actually.
Very contentious,
yeah.
and a lot of, people have been reacting to it from both sides of the divide. From the Muslim and the Christian faiths, respectively.
But does it even make sense in the first place, Esa? Nobody. that.
Yeah, religion is a very thorny issue and quite very sensitive.
Yes.
So when you do things that have to do with religion, you need to be careful.
Yeah.
You can provoke reactions, and that's exactly what happened. But we really want to read the first few lines of the article here published by the Standard newspaper, authored by Omar Ba. Operation. That one is a very interesting one. Operation No to Tribalism and Religious Intolerance, a non-partisan movement formed by Gambians from all walks of life, has condemned Bakau-based singer One Park for mimicking Jesus dying on the cross. Now, the picture of the singer half naked and attached to the cross appeared online yesterday, sparking outrage among Gambian Christians. Now, the picture was meant to promote an upcoming concert, the return of Gambia's heavyweight. Now, we also gathered that the artist has been dropped from the said concert.
Of course,
and
the sponsors said they would not go.
And some of the partners have also released statements dissociating themselves from the act of this said artist, that is One Park, hailing from Bakau. Now, the Gambia immigration has reacted to alleged abuse of a Sierra Leonean and a Guinean as well, according to the Standard newspaper. Reading on, the Gambia Immigration Department last evening issued a press statement reacting to alleged abuse of a Sierra Leonean and a Guinean officer and a Guinean national by officers of the GID. Now, the statement that we will read part of here, published by the Standard, says, following the alleged abuse of a Sierra Leonean and a Gambian national by officers of the Gambia Immigration Department that has been making rounds on social media, of course, the Office of the Director General of the Gambia Immigration Department wishes to inform the general public that it has received the said allegations with great deal of dismay. That is how they're putting it, Fatu. Consequently, the Office of the Director General sanctioned an urgent and comprehensive investigation into the matter. And this was to ensure that facts surrounding the allegations are established and published. Perpetrators of the alleged physical abuse are also brought to book. However, the GID Fatu goes on to say it wants to make it absolutely clear that no such abuses have been officially reported to any of the stations.
Interesting.
So, they are rebuting.
Yeah, we read that yesterday on the news, and it shows how keen they are on this issue. But also, the Standard said Gambian.
The allegations, I'm sure that there is an error on the article.
Yeah,
because the headline says it was a Sierra Leonean and a Guinean.
Yes.
And reading down the article, it says a Sierra Leonean and a Gambian.
Okay, maybe that's an error.
Oversight, yeah. And
On the Standard newspaper, NPP plans a grand welcome as President Barrow arrives.
So he's coming here today.
Yes, as we have been speaking to our correspondents, they have been reporting that the President will be returning to Banjul today.
Interesting.
Though he has one more meeting to preside over in the Lower River region, to be precise in Kiang. And from that meeting, he'll be driving straight back to Banjul. So the NPP is saying, according to the Standard, they will be putting up a reception that has never, a like of which has never been seen before. They said
according to the standard, it will only compare to the one we saw when he was returning from Dakar.
Which one was that again?
When the president went to Dakar, remember during the...
When he was inaugurated?
During the impasse, he went to Dakar, and shortly after everything was settling down, the president came and he was, accorded a rousing reception back home.
The MPP trying to make a statement
Unda Nyang, who is the NPP regional chairman, is saying, yes, that we are going to see something similar to what we saw when President Barrow was returning from Basse, according to the Standard newspaper, though. And the GPA asked to transfer management of Senegambia Bridge to the Accountant General, also another story. And the Manding Bumba rebukes a minister for criticizing the coronation of a Mandinka king.
Oh, why? What about the Manding Bumba?
Yes, we want to read that. Now, the spokesperson of the Manding Bumba has pillared Regional Government Minister Musa Drame for disparaging the group's recent coronation of one Amadou Kora of Basse as the king of the Mandinkas. Now, the standard goes further to say Minister Drame was not amused by the actions of the group and said he did not recognize the powers its members arrogated themselves. But the Manding Bumba spokesman, who is Tunko Sane, said they do not need the approval of the minister and that they have the right to form the association and promote the Mandinka culture.
Is it? So they've already set themselves up now. But with the Mandinka community, all the Mandinka communities...
Yes, this is something that recently occurred around Basse in the Upper Region.
Okay,
they had an event in which they coronated the said Amadou Kora, of Basse as the king of the Mandinkas. So the local government minister, during one of his address as part of the ongoing Meets the People tour, said it is not in conformity.
Oh, he said it at the People's tour.
In conformity with the local government's
that's
act.
serious.
So it falls outside the laws of the land. So here you have the Manding Bumba now saying they have the right to do so.
And it looks like the people there, in fact, they acknowledge this.
Yes.
The people, the community there who've...
Seemingly so. It's an association. That's what you have. So we want to do sports as usual.
Of course, go ahead. Esa is also a sports correspondent. So give us a little bit of that.
We love sports. So, Gambian players are making moves, as you know. Of recent, we have seen so many Gambian players, signing contracts outside the Gambia and playing international football. So here you have James Gomez. He has signed a 3-year contract with FC Horsens, that is in Denmark. He is the under-20 captain. The under-20 recently won.
I held the trophy.
Yeah, so I showed you the picture. So James, according to the standard, also has signed, a 3-year deal with, AC Horsens. They play Dennis Top Flight in Denmark. Nice. He was there on a season-long loan deal, and then after the loan deal expired, they decided to make it permanent. So now he's officially an FC Horsens player in Denmark. So he'll be playing in the Danish Super League. So congratulations to James. He's our under-20 captain.
And he could not make it the other day when they were having them on multi-sports. The assistant captain came. I guess he was busy with all these things.
All these things, yes. So it has paid
manifested,
So fun, that is what we have on the standard this morning.
Oh, yeah, amazing. Esa, of course, is an editor at GRTS. If you're following the Gambia Today, Gambia This Morning, you know that Esa Saw's voice is familiar. Esa, it's been great having you here.
Thank you.
What will you be doing after here?
Yeah, I'll be doing the 1 p.m. news on radio and probably work on the Gambia Today with Fatoumata Cham, because we have a very interesting program coming at 4 p.m. The president is coming, and we have been doing regular, coverage of the Meet the People's tour. So we want to, deal with that later on.
Yes, and that would be major as they are trying to put up a statement. So we look forward to that as well.
Thank you.
Gambia Today it is later on over the radio. Thank you so much, Esa. All the best.
Thank you.
Well, this was the AM show. I will take a short break, and when we come back, it is a wrap. welcome back to the AM show. Well, this is where we draw the curtains out at. We want to thank you, our viewers, for sticking time to us, of course, for following us on your TV sets and as well on social media, on Facebook at GRTS TV and on YouTube at GRTS TV as well. My name is Fatu Elika Mloshi, and the producer for today's program was Famara Baji, of course, assisted by Khadija Bokum. Our team of technicians over there as well, I want to say special thanks. And our camera operator here in the studio operating all the 3 cameras is Baji himself. Till we come your way again on Saturday. Many thanks for watching. Bye for now.